demographic shifts. Changes in population, age, income, and lifestyle patterns can also impact the demand for housing. And investors have no control over these shifts. Now, when you decide to invest in residential real estate, you need to be aware that there are several factors out of your control which can influence your residential real estate investment. And you need to be very sure that you take this into consideration. The first and most important one is economic conditions. Economic indicators such as inflation, interest rates, and employment levels can have a significant impact on the real estate market, and investors have limited control over these factors. It is a fact that many buy-to-let owners have not been able to put up their rentals a lot for the past few years because of the economic constraints. Their tenants are often not getting any raises at the places where they work. Yet the landlord or the owner of the property is faced with rising costs all the time, to such an extent that it becomes a problem if he's not really able to raise the rental to cover the rising costs that are related to owning a property. Then there are demographic shifts. Changes in population, age, income, and lifestyle patterns can also impact the demand for housing. And investors have no control over these shifts. A good example here is quite a few years ago, the average person started buying their first apartment or unit around 27, 28 years of age. These days, they are well into their 30s. The reason being, younger people have a different lifestyle. I don't think they want to be tied down by something like owning a property at that stage. They still want to be able to move around after new opportunities that come to them, and then they don't want to be tied down by having to sell a property or wanting to be stuck because they cannot sell a property. So this is a typical example of what is happening, and this has had an impact on real estate sales. At the same time, people still need to live somewhere, so they often become tenants. But as for buying, people really now start buying at age 35, 36, even a bit later. Then governmental regulations and policies, and this has had a severe impact on the buy-to-let property market. There have been changes in zoning laws, building codes, tax policies, and all of these can affect the value of a property, and investors have limited controls over these decisions. Also, legislation protecting the defaulting tenants have become a nightmare. So if you have a non-paying tenant, you might find yourself in a situation where you cannot get that tenant out of your property without incurring heavy legal fees, even court cases, and you can look at severe losses, not only of rental income, but also legal fees that you need to pay in order to get rid of these tenants. And after they've left, you're often left with a lot of damage. The best way to negate this is to get, I would say, a property management agent who knows what he or she is doing, and who will keep your interests at mind by doing thorough checks on your prospective tenants. Then there are natural disasters, but you should be covered by insurance, or you should have insurance in place. Natural events such as hurricanes, earthquakes, and wildfires can impact the value of the property and your ability to sell it. Then the market sentiment. The market sentiment and consumer confidence can significantly impact demand for housing, and investors have limited control over these attitudes. We find ourselves in a space where very many people are very negative about financial outlook, financial prospects, and they are very hesitant to take large financial decisions, such as investing in a property could be. It's a long-term investment. Then there's competition and supply and demand dynamics. You often get that there's a shortage of residential property, and then the landlord is in the bound seats because there's a demand for his rental property. And then developers can come along, and suddenly loads of rental properties, or even just townhouse complexes, apartment complexes rise and are built, and then there's an oversupply. And you might suddenly find that you need to drop your rental price significantly in order to secure a tenant. So one needs to be aware that the market fluctuates. It's a bit of a feast and famine situation. Sometimes you are lucky and there are many tenants looking for housing, and at other times you really struggle to find tenants. So this can have a severe impact on your returns. Then location and infrastructure. Factors such as the quality of local infrastructure, transportation, and access to amenities can have significant impact on the value of a property. And this is often beyond an investor's control. That is why it is so important that you check out the local government where you are thinking of investing. Are they coming to the party with what they need to do to keep up the maintenance in your area? In other words, is the area where you want to invest one that people want to move away from, or is it an attractive area where people want to move to? So you need to bear all of this in mind, and it's more crucial than ever before to do your homework properly when considering investing in a buy-to-let property.